Hello and welcome back to another episode of Rugby with Pads. It is draft week. We've had our draft 201 and you know what? We're not going to mess about. We're going to go straight into a draft this week. This is a copy of my League of Record. My League of Record, it's been going for a long time, probably almost 10 years, maybe even longer than that. I can't really remember. It is a keeper league now. We set up as a keeper league a couple of years ago, and it is the league I probably most want to win. I've won it once. I've tasted the top, and then last year I didn't do that well. I am drafting from the 2 spot. Now, the way it works is we're not allowed to keep elite players in the top 2, and we're not allowed to keep players we've already kept, so you're only allowed to keep them for an extra year. So you can see there's no keepers in the first 3 rounds. The keepers going across the board from slot 1, we've got Jared Goff in the 14th slot. Interesting choice. I don't mind it. He's normally going in around the 9th or 10th from recollection. We've got Kyron Williams. That's me. I picked him up as a free agent, so I've got him in the 15th. Team 3 has picked Jaden. Is that Jaden Reed or Jalen Reed? I never know the one. But Reed from Green Bay, he picked him over Trey McBride, who he could have had in the same spot. Very brave choice. Team 4's gone for a solid running back, so they're going to be thinking about running back later. Isaiah Pacheco in the 8th. Team 5 have done similar. They've gone for a 3-round value of Rashad White in the 7th compared to his ADP at the 4th. Joe Burrow is next in the 4th, probably a bit early than when you're getting him. I think his ADP is considerably lower than that, but you know, sometimes you've got to play the players you want. Then we have a trio of 15th round guys who were picked up on the waiver wire: Tank Dell, Puka Nacua, Devon A.K.A. I don't know what it is, but the very fast running back in Miami who I love and adore. And then finally, in the 10th slot, you've got Dak Prescott. Now, I am drafting from the 2 slot. I'm going to turn off all the sounds so we don't have to make your ears bleed if you're listening or watching this on YouTube. But without further ado, let's start the draft. And I'm going to be using, as you can see on the left-hand side of the screen here, I'm going to be using my tier-based draft. And I'm going to talk to you about it. I'm not going to be marking it up as I go along. Too much work when you're playing against the computer and you're not having much time. But this is something that I would, you know what? I'll show you. I have printed off. And I like a physical copy. I like being able to print it off, write things, notes to myself, things go up and down. But you know, I will dare anyone to not draft as well as this in a in this format. So this is going to be interesting. This is going to be the straightest draft I've got, but knowing that on my roster I already have Kyron Williams. So am I going to go RB early? Let's see. Okay, let's start. Christian McCaffrey off the board first, and that leaves me with, you know what, it's obvious. I think the number 1 wide receiver for anyone these days is going to be Tyreek Hill or CeeDee Lamb. They're in the top 2 there. I have never played with CeeDee Lamb, and I think he is going to get paid despite all the lol tweets at Jerry these days. But I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb, get in my squad. So we start off with CeeDee Lamb. Tyreek Hill goes next. Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown, Bijan Robinson, Breece Hall. That's my tier 1 running backs gone. Amon-Ra St. Brown, who I would have loved as well. I think he's so close in that mix. It's not far off in getting that too. He's in the 2 slot with Jamar Chase and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamar Chase are in that kind of second tier. Jahmyr Gibbs goes, Saquon Barkley, Marvin Harrison, Devontae Adams, ETN, Drake London, Derrick Henry. Now, Derrick Henry could have been a pickup that I like because I do rate him, and he is kind of in that slot just behind. I've got him in 4th, but I might actually move him up. I do really like him. But here, I don't see much value in going for a running back because do I like Josh Jacobs? No. Even though he's on an incredibly powerful offense, I don't really like the look of him. I'm running out of time here, so I'm thinking I'm going to pass up on running backs because none of these guys really tickle my fancy. But the wide receivers do. And if I look at the wide receiver market here, most of these guys have gone. Puka has gone, I believe. Has Puka gone? Oh, Puka's okay. Puka's already been drafted because of course he has. So we're down in this 4th tier. Mike Evans, Deebo Samuel. I really like the idea of Deebo Samuel this year. I think he's going to get a lot of play with Ayuk potentially being traded. I'm just going to see if there's any really good guys available in my tight end tier. And this is where I'm considering, like, do I value these tight ends more so than I value a 4th tier wide receiver? And I think for Sam Laporta, I think that is the case. I think he just gets better. So I'm going to, bite the bullet and go for Sam Laporta in the 209. Travis Kelce goes just after, so they follow me with a tight end, Chris Olave. And that means, because I've got quite a tight turnaround here, I've got all my options open to me. So I'm going to go back to what the wide receiver well here. And the next guy up in my fourth tier, Puka Nakua's gone, Marvin Harrison's gone. I've got Deebo Samuel, Mike Evans, and I like Deebo Samuel. I like him a lot. I don't have any of the 49ers here. Could I get a stack with Brock Purdy later? Maybe. I like that idea. There's some quarterbacks that are probably going to come back to me, and we'll come to that. But I think I'm just going to pull the trigger on Deebo Samuels. He is one of my guys. Josh Jacobs goes next, and that was the thing I had there. Josh Jacobs is down in my tiers. He's down in the 4th or 5th tier, I believe. Here we are. I've got him as a bigger void. Josh Allen goes after that. So the quarterbacks start running here. Jalen Hurts, Jalen Waddle, Brandon Ayuk goes, Patrick Mahomes, Mike Evans, Stephon Diggs, DJ Moore, who I would have loved to have gotten, Nico Collins, who's a void for me. I think he's too rich. James Cook, DK Metcalf, Joe Burrow, who's the keeper, Pittman, Smith, Devontae Smith, and Lamar Jackson. And this is where I think it gets interesting because I'm staring down the barrel of Cooper Kupp. Now, Cooper Kupp, I've talked about it in one of my other ones. Cooper Kupp is a 6th kind of pick here, and I'm looking at my 4th round, so I've got all of those guys have gone, and all my guys in my 5th thing has gone. I really like the idea of Cooper Kupp because he is a cheap version of Puka Nacua. And he seriously is. He's coming to be available in the 4th, whereas Puka Nacua would normally get drafted probably tail end of the 1st, especially in this league where some of those guys are already gone. And this is what you've got to consider around this. But let's go through the process. Cooper Kupp is high on my list. Who else is available to me around this? Who's going to go? Is it a running back? Is it the likes of Alvin Kamara? I think he might go a bit later. I do like the idea of getting a solid quarterback now, but I'm a bit lower on CJ Stroud, who's staring me down the face. Anthony Richardson is still available. I don't believe Kyler Murray's still available a bit later. They're my 3 guys. So they're still available. So that tier hasn't run out yet. But I think I'm going to go to the wide receiver again because that tier is running about that tier 6 guys. I've got Amari Cooper's a sleeper. He might be available later. Drake London, I think, has already gone. So I'm going to pull, even though I've got that kind of 1-2 with, this is tough. I've got that 1-2. I'm going to go with Cooper Kupp. Now, the only reason I've kind of said that might be not a wise thing because I've already got Kyren Williams. So do I think they're going to play the same role? I don't think Kyren Williams is much of a kind of running back catcher. Maybe I could have got Kamara there because he went afterwards. And I would like a second running back around now. And I'm seeing who's available. So Joe Mixon is available. Joe Mixon's staring me at that solid position there. I'm really considering him. The rest of the guys around him have gone already. He's the tier break on that one. I'm probably want to go for him, but I need to consider my other tiers as well. Kyler Murray's probably going to come back to me. I'm probably going to miss out on Anthony Richardson, who is definitely my guy. But I'm going to play the Joe Mixon card and go hit for him there and sort out my team and have solid. I know we said we don't have to draft in this because who are the wide receivers available? But the wide receivers I'm staring down. I've got Amari Cooper, who is in that tier break, but I've got a bunch of really good guys who I really like. I've got some guys at the top, and because I went wide receiver first with CD Lamb, I'm not too worried about my wide receiver position, but I am going to be worried about the fall off on running back. So I'm going to go running back. I'm going to go with someone who balances well and who has always been a proven commodity. I'm going to go Joe Mixon. So start out first 5, CD Lamb, Sam Laporta, Deebo Samuel, Cooper Kupp, Joe Mixon. Mark Andrews goes next. Dalton Kincaid, Pitts, McBride, Neighbors, Higgins, CJ Stroud, Cooper, Zay Flowers, Kittle, Connor, Anthony Richardson does go. So I think this makes my choice obvious. Aaron Jones, who is going high. I don't doubt he's a performer, but Ramondre Stevenson, DeAndre Swift, that would have left me with a bunch of nobodies in running back. So I think I made the right choice by going running back. But I've got someone staring me down in the face. He's a bit over here. I'm reaching ever so slightly to get him, but I just want to secure him because I'm worried that Team 1 needs a wide receiver, needs a quarterback. it's got to be Kyler Murray. I get him in my third tier. He is a league winner. David Montgomery goes next with George Pickens, and that leaves me kind of free to do what I want. I'm not going to pick up a kicker, so I'm just looking where the value is. I'm going to go with one quarterback because I've gone quite high on this one, unless someone stares me at the face later, because I don't want that decision headache. We're in the 6th tier for running backs at this point. For wide receivers, maybe there's some value. Is Amari Cooper still there? No, but Terry McLaurin is. Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Brandon Ayuk. They're all in my 7th tier, weirdly enough. So, you know what? I think the obvious pick here is the tier break with Terry McLaurin. I really like him, and if I'm playing to my own rules, I should be looking towards the tier break. So let's stick to that and go Terry McLaurin. This is looking like a formidable team. Maybe looked like a formidable team a couple of years ago. Anyway, Roma Dunze goes next. Zamir White. Rashad White was a keeper. Raheem Mostert, who I think is such a good value play. He's just going a bit too high because I think people are catching on to that. Chris Godwin, who I think is absolutely solid, and I think I probably missed him out in my thing. No, he was in the next tier, so he probably would have been a pick if it had been available. Najee Harris, Brock Bowers, Tony Pollard. I like the cheaper version of him and Tyjae Spears. Xavier Worthy, Engram, Ferguson, Ridley, Chubb. Chubb goes in the 8th. That's too rich when it comes to injured players. Checker was a keeper, and Javonte Williams, and I'm just drafting upside now. I've got such a great core. I need to draft the upside. So you can see I'm scrolling down a bit. I'm thinking about what running backs are available to me. Jonathan Brooks, Zach Moss. We're not really liking that at all. I like where is he? I like Tyjae Spears. He's going to come back to me probably. He's in that kind of 7 squad. I think he's as good as Tony Pollard, if not better, and he's going to come back to me. Yeah, I'm probably going to wait on running back because there's a lot of guys in that tier who are going to be the same for me. We're looking in this kind of T. Higgins area or the value thereof. Calvin Ridley's just gone. I think he's a fantastic player, and I would have loved to have got him. Keenan Allen, is Keenan Allen still available? No, he went a couple of rounds ago, so I can't pick him. But I'm looking at running back, sorry, wide receiver. Thinking about that, Jaden Reed's already gone. Deontay Johnson. Oh, Deontay Johnson. I love this because I'm thinking about the situation he's going to be in. Bryce Young is going to have to probably throw a lot. So Deontay Johnson, get in my side. This is going to be wide receiver city, guys. And at this point, I'm thinking, right, the value isn't really there, but I have got an asset that I want to protect. Kyren Williams is a 1st or 2nd round draft pick. Straight up. I've got him as a 15, and he's going to need to protect that. So I am going to actually break protocol here, and I'm going to go down, just find out where Blake Corum is probably going to come back to me. So I might regret this, but I'm really hoping Blake Corum comes back to me. I'm looking at this kind of tier 8 still, and I'm looking for upside. And I know he's hurt me before, but I really like the idea of getting Gabe Davis. Is Gabe Davis already gone? Actually, I've got to look at that. People take the mick out, no, 1145. He's probably going to come back to me then. So you've always got to consider who might come back to you as well. Looks like he will do, but he's kind of a tier break there. I don't want to break protocol, but I want to make sure that I'm aware of people who are going to go away from me. Jonathan Brooks, I like as a kind of prospect. Have I got him particularly high? I probably haven't. I'm looking still in this kind of 7th tier, really. I'm going to go for someone who I think is going to perform and have an outstanding time anyway. I'm going to reach a little bit, and I'm going to go, oof, this is really tough. I don't think Eckler's going to get the volume I want. I think it's going to be quite a high running offense for Titans. New York Giants, Devin Singletary to me just scares me, but maybe I need to get a bit softer on him as well. But no, I'm going to reach a little bit, and I'm going to go for Tyjae Spears in the 9th round. And you guys might think that's stupid, but I want performers, and I think he's going to perform fantastically well. He knows the format already. Hollywood Brown goes next. That would have been a lovely pick. Lab McConkey, Watson, who I do not rate at all. I think he's too boom bust. Jonathan Brooks, Jalen Warren, again, my pick of the running backs in Pittsburgh. DeAndre Hopkins, Devon Singletary. I'm glad I went running back because all of these guys would have gone. Eckler, Robinson, Benson, Gus Edwards. It leaves me with another choice. Who is sitting available for me? Blake Corum should be sitting around this mark. I'm thinking he is 116 on here. Yeah, he's not coming back to me. Maybe we'll do, because these guys aren't picking them. So I'm going to go for my last running back. I'm going to go for Blake Corum. He is my handcuff, but he has so much value if it goes down. Jordan Love and David Njoku go next. I didn't expect that. I should have read the board here. I should have read that Team 1 didn't have a running back, didn't have a tight end, or no, they did have a tight end. They got Kelsey. Okay, they got double tight end. Fair enough, but they didn't. And they did have a QB. This is why free mocks and the comments against the computer can be a bit silly. But either way, what we're doing is we're testing our metal with this. And I did say I was going to come back for Gabe Davis. He's sitting there. I think I need to just reach a little bit. Although I do like Khalil Shakir. Khalil Shakir is sitting in that tier as well. He is the very last of my tier 8s, along with Gabe Davis. So I'm going to go Khalil Shakir in this one and hope that Gabe Davis comes straight back to me. So CD Lamb, Deebo Samuel, Sam Laporta, Cooper Kupp, Joe Mixon, Kyler Murray, Terry McLaurin, Deontay Johnson, Tyjae Spears, Blake Corum, and of course, my keeper, Kyron Williams and Khalil Shakir so far. After my pick of Khalil Shakir, Brock Purdy, Williams, Tua Tagovailoa went, Goddard, Elliott, Jaden Daniels, who would have been a fantastic number 2, great upside there. Williams, great point. J-Mo Williams, Brown, Schultz, who is my sleeper pick for a fantastic tight end. Had I not invested so heavily in tight end early on, I would have been looking at him. I might be looking at a backup tight end, but I'm probably going to be getting someone for waiver wire. But, staring me at the face, I said he's my last guy on this tier. It's Gabe Davis. I'm looking for massive upside. I've got a great core squad here, and I am going to stick with what I've said, and I'm not going to draft a quarterback here. I'm not going to draft a defensive team or a kicker. I'm looking for upside and players who can give me massive benefits. Now, this is a 1 quarterback league, and I'm looking at the kind of top level quarterbacks. Everyone's got a top level quarterback, and everyone's kind of ignoring Justin Herbert. And I'd be tempted to pick up Justin Herbert as trade bait, but instead, I'm just going to look for someone here. I'm going to look a bit deeper and see if I can find someone who could potentially be a breakout. And I am going to go for a tight end who I think could have a breakout. Luke Musgrave. He played well for stretches last year. Tucker Kraft got in the team a little bit, but Luke Musgrave, I think, is going to be a quality semi-starter as well. Team 10 go for a second quarterback to go with Dak Prescott and Trevor Lawrence. This is why you don't believe the hype when it comes to this. Justin Herbert's still available to me. I don't know how Trevor Lawrence is getting picked over Justin Herbert. I really don't understand it. But I've got a couple of guys staring me in the face here. Mike Williams, questionable on that kind of pup list a little bit. Brandon Cooks, I think, could be a fantastic wide receiver too. And I'm probably going to go for Brandon Cooks just in case there is a holdout with CD Lamb. So that finishes off my team, guys. I've got Kyler Murray, Joe Mixon, Tyjae Spears, CD Lamb, Deebo Samuels, Sam Laporta, and Cooper Kupp. And you might think that's a weak running back room, but then you've got to remember I've got my keeper, Kyron Williams, who gets pushed down there. I've got Terry McLaurin, Deontay Johnson, Blake Corum, Khalil Shakir, Gabe Davis, Luke Musgrave, Brandon Cooks, and as I said, got that keeper. So that's how I draft in my home league in tiers, because I've just looked for the value in each tier of player that I could get and just gone at it hard there. So really hope this helps you in the way of thinking, and that you can benefit from this as well. Again, if you want a copy of this list and it is updated regularly, you can go support at www.rugbywithpads.com. For £1, for as little as £1, you can subscribe, get newsletters every week, start sits, all the stuff that I don't have time to do in the pod. I'm going to be doing written content as well. So if you enjoy that kind of thing, please go and support a little £1. And you get a cheeky bonus in the store as well. And there will be a link in the description to all of that, as well as a special discount code, which I can't remember what it is, but I'm probably going to change one and give you a new one, maybe 15% off for draft season. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. I will see you all very soon on the Virtual Gridiron.